Big news of the morning. We got Cowboys are going to fire defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. This is near and dear to your heart. We got some head coaches that have gone, but I want to start with Eberflus. Sal, how are you holding up? How upset are you right now to lose Eberflus?
I'm going to be okay. I think he should be extra upset because you feel as a coach, if you survive Black Monday, like, oh my God, thank God. I don't know what, wow. And then it's like Tuesday morning, like, hey, we forgot something. Clerical error. You're gone.
Our facts didn't go through. Sorry,
yes.
Eberflus. Yeah.
Here we go. It's working now. They were a disaster defensively. They're last in scoring defense. They allowed 35 passing touchdowns. They played well for 2 games after they got Quinn and Williams. But the big thing was, like, Dak called them out the other day. He's like, hey, man, everyone's like, oh, you're wasting good Dak years. It's like, this is the first time he said it. And he actually said, this is the first time I could say this is not my fault. Look at the points allowed. So another Dak year wasted. He had 30 touchdowns and 4,600 yards. But this is on Jerry. 4 defensive coordinators in 4 years. They lets Dan Quinn go. Dan Quinn takes the Washington to the NFC Championship. Not so great this year, but just rinse, repeat, wash the whole thing over and over. Really good job here, Jerry.
Yeah, and Jerry, he's going to look around and point the finger, and it will never turn back the other way. So he will find someone to be the fall guy, and Eberflus just happened to be the fall guy this time. And poor Dak, Dak has, like you said, had a great year, but had no defense behind him. It all started with the odd Micah Parsons trade, and that still has the weird fallout of both those, talking through the media to each other. So
the Ringer Gambling Show is presented by FanDuel. FanDuel's got it all. Same game parlays, quick bets for jumping in live, and your way so you could build the best bet that fits your play. Plus, don't miss out on the NFL playoffs all month long. Download the FanDuel app or head to FanDuel.com/gamblers to get started. You have to be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
A lot of crazy things happening in Dallas. Speaking of crazy things happening, Atlanta has decided to fire Raheem Morris and also their GM as well, who decided to draft Michael Penix while also paying Kirk Cousins, which was a very strange decision. He's had some great picks otherwise, but Bijan Robinson, not enough to save him. Raheem Morris is now out of a job. The last image of Raheem was a hug with Arthur Blank. Did you think that was cold, Sal? Would you hug somebody right before you fire him? Felt very Godfather-esque.
I felt like Raheem went in for the hug, so I don't know if Arthur's supposed to duck and weave. He's like 82. I'm not sure if he had it in him to.
At least he didn't go in for the kiss, right? We've seen that.
That's true. That's true. But I think he's a likable guy, and Arthur Blank and both of them, Raheem Morris too. But I feel like the writing was on the wall, on the MetLife walls, actually, when Atlanta lost to the Jets. Like, it really didn't matter in Arthur Blank's eyes what happened the rest of the year. So, playing spoiler week 18, apparently not good enough. The GM, you're right, took a gamble with Penix and that giant Kirk Cousins contract, and it didn't work. And also remember, Kyle Pitts was a very high pick, and he had like one good game in 4 years. So they should be able to get someone competent to replace Morris. I think we're going to go over the best coaching jobs. But sad, Raheem Morris, good guy. Arthur Blank, I think all good people involved here. But it made sense here.
Yeah, the good news for Kyle Pitts fans, first year he had 1 touchdown, second year 2 touchdowns, third year 3 touchdowns, fourth year 4 touchdowns. This year, fifth year, 5 touchdowns. So if he plays 25 seasons, Sal, he's going to have a really big year there in year 25. So we'll see.
Atlanta will have traded him away to probably Buffalo by then. But
he'll be on the Chiefs with Pat Mahomes at that point probably. Next up, he was fired. Raheem Morris was fired. Again, the way that they phrase this is very important. The Raiders also fire head coach Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, 1 season, a one and done, 3-year contract. When they fired Chip Kelly, it felt like, okay, this is probably trending in that direction. Tom Brady is apparently going to be involved heavily in the process to find a new head coach, which would be good. Your thoughts on Pete Carroll? It felt like he just kind of never got off on the right foot, and now Geno Smith's deleting all of his Raiders pictures and all type of stuff is happening. But Pete Carroll, he's officially done. Sad way for him to go out, right, Sal?
Yeah, our friend Brother Bry, big Raiders fan, deleted all his Raiders pictures, I think, back in August. But sad way, but I also felt good for him when he won the last game. Would have felt better if that win over the Chiefs actually cost them the number 1 pick, but it didn't. Would have been a nice FU on their way out. But so, I would like it, Tate, if Mark Davis ended up paying more coaches than players. Like if he were playing,
that'd be perfect.
paying 54 ex-coaches and 53 current players. I feel like that's a nice balance. So $50 million he owes to Carroll, Pierce, McDaniels, Gruden, and Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly, not a head coach, but an expensive coordinator there. Can they try no coach in 26? I'm not sure how this would work.
That would be great. Maybe Max Crosby the coach. I don't know. They'll figure out something there, and they'll end up paying somebody else because that is the Raiders' way. Another guy that was fired, Cardinals fire head coach Jonathan Gannon. 3 years, 3 disappointing seasons, 3 losing seasons. And I think a lot of people, if you went around and polled and said, who's the coach of the Cardinals, they would have a hard time telling you who the coach was. But Gannon, no longer there. Yeah. Your thoughts on Jonathan Gannon's career with the Cardinals? What was the highlight for you, Sal?
Well, the highlight is something they're showing after his miserable coaching tenure, which is this video of him meeting the team when he got the gig, showing zero charisma, right? So, there aren't enough highlights of games where they lost by 30 points, so they have to attack his personality. Kind of felt bad for him. But, yeah, 15-36. I think he had like a 294 winning percentage, and that ranked like 200th out of 207 coaches who lasted at least 50 games. This wasn't a tough decision.
No, not at all. And then the last one, this was not a firing. This was a parting of ways. The Browns and Kevin Stefanski have decided to part ways, which is basically a nice way of saying he is no longer the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. So Stefanski is out. He's going to be a hot commodity on the board, but a 2-time coach of the year, Sal. I mean, how wild is it that the Browns decided to get rid of him instead of maybe getting rid of some of the other guys in the locker room?
Well, it's a nice mercy killing for Kevin Stefanski, right? I was looking at his numbers. You said 2-time coach of the year for sure. 6 years, he was 45-56. 11 under 500 with this Browns team is kind of miraculous, right? Like if you weigh those 45 wins, like he probably should have more wins than Don Shula at this point. So he's going to get a job in 3 weeks if he wants one. The problem is, I think after living in purgatory for 6 years with a dozen quarterbacks, he is going to have to go to a spot where they have a reliable quarterback. And I'm not sure there are too many of those, as we'll go over in a minute.
Yeah, speaking of miracles, these guys still have head coaching jobs in the NFL. Zach Taylor with Cincinnati, Aaron Glenn, my God, Aaron Glenn with the Jets, and Joe Shan, also the GM of the Giants, keeps his job. And Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins, who I think, he was the one that was the first coach fired for many people's boards going into the season. So for all those guys to keep staying and keeping their jobs, keep on keeping on, we give them some credit. Now let's have some fun, Sal. Let's do a draft, picking the best jobs available. We got the Giants, the Titans, Cleveland, Atlanta, Vegas, Arizona. You get the first pick pick here. What do you like? Drafting the best jobs available.
All right. So 6 openings. We'll just go 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm still going to say Atlanta is the best spot. I had, we were on last week and I had, my hot take was that Tomlin would end up there. But it seemed Tomlin kind of screwed that up by winning Sunday night. Even so, it's the best spot because I think you can go 7-10 or 8-9. I'm pretty sure that's how it is, even with a bad quarterback, and win that division. So I don't know who that bad quarterback is, if they're going to end up with Nix or Cousins or Malik Willis could go there and win 8 or 9 games and win that division. But I think it's easily, and I think Arthur Blank's a good guy, would hang on to you for a minute if you didn't do well the first year. But I think Atlanta's the best spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Atlanta there as a number 1 pick. I'm going to go Tennessee, and maybe this is a little bit, shocking, but to me, you get Cam Ward, and I believe in Cam Ward. I think he's the best quarterback available of all these openings, and he started to show some signs of life there. He said he wanted to be involved in who the next head coach is, which means he actually cares about who the next head coach is. I think Nashville is a good city to be in. The expectations aren't as high there, so I think you get a little bit of breathing room to figure things out. Vrabel set a nice blueprint down there of how to get things done. And that division feels like, even though the Jags have looked really good over the past few weeks and the past month or so, I still feel like it's open and there for the taking. So I'll take the Titans there as my number 2 pick, Sal.
Yeah, same reasoning there with you. The South divisions are easily, like the Jags were 4-13, right? So they're tougher teams there. But as a coach, you could probably make your move. All right, so I get the 3rd pick. I'll say the Giants. I know it's controversial, highly scrutinized in New York. It's a bummer, but they have a quarterback. Unlike these other teams, I guess Cam Ward on Tennessee will be their quarterback. But the Giants have a good one, somewhat proven, good skill position guys, and they have the shitty Cowboys in their division. I think that would be the 3rd best job.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to go Arizona next on the board, and no shots to Cleveland or Las Vegas. I just feel like with the Deshaun Watson aspect and the fact that the Raiders just can't figure out a way to get out of their own way, the Cardinals. Just the history of the franchise. They've been good. They've been there. They've, obviously Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald, right? We've seen this team, even when Kyler first got there, Kyler gets to the playoffs. He lost that game at the Rams, and it feels like ever since then, they've just been spiraling to nowhere. So I just think there's a little bit of life there in Arizona. They got a little bit of a fan base that can get going if they start winning some games. I know the arena's out in the middle of Glendale. It's a tough, job to get to, but if you're a coach and you like playing golf, go down to the Arizona Cardinals. It's a good place to be. Scottsdale's a nice time. Gilbert, Arizona. I like Gilbert a lot. So I think it's a good job for the lifestyle. So I'll take the Cardinals.
I like it. Toughest division, obviously. So you got some work to do, but not bad. Not bad lifestyle there. All right. So now I have, what's my choices? Vegas and freaking Cleveland. Is that what's going on here? It's just such a mess. Cleveland, I saw, is like $30 million over the cap.
Got Deshaun Watson. That's the tough part.
That's your team. I'm leaving them for you. I'm going Vegas. Only because of the stupid coach thing. Like, I think you have a longer leash because they're now not going to pay 6 coaches, right? We joked about it, but I think you have a little longer than a year. Herbert's a good quarterback in that division. Knicks is okay. Mahomes on his way down, maybe if you get lucky with this Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza pick. I don't know. I think you'll have a little bit of a longer leash there. And it's Vegas. My God, what a fun time we have there.
Yeah, Henderson's a nice city you can live in. The facility out there is brand new. I'll take Cleveland, obviously, last. I'm excited about what the Browns could be. Myles Garrett, right? That's something to be excited about if I get that job. I just feel like following Stefanski, you mentioned it, it's going to be tough to be better than what Stefanski was. And then also you have this really volatile situation in the quarterback room. You got Deshaun Watson there. Shedeur Sanders suspects that he will be the starting quarterback of the future, but you're paying Deshaun so much more. So if he's healthy, he kind of has to play. I just feel like that's a major headache for a new head coach. And no shots to Cleveland. Cleveland's a lovely city. I've been there, had some great times. So it's not about the city, Sal. It's about the situation of the quarterback room.
Yeah, listen, you don't even have to pick Cleveland. If you want to wait Black Tuesday, it's only a few hours in. Maybe there'll be another firing, another position. I will say, if opening up for next year, Aaron Glenn, first coach fired, probably minus 100,000 at this point.
Yes. I still can't believe that. I still feel like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's still a chance something could happen when it comes to Aaron Glenn. Yeah. I would suspect something could happen. Let's flip to college football, Sal. CFP Semifinals. We've made it. We got some good matchups here. Miami, Ole Miss, and Atlanta in the Peach Bowl. Miami minus 3.5 in this game. 51.5 is the over-under. What do you like and who do you like in this one, Sal?
You love this, Tate. You got to keep this ACC ball rolling, right?
ACC. I'm going to start chanting it. Yeah.
Because if they win the title, the committee has to take UNC next year, no matter what, in the playoffs, right?
Finally, someone's saying it.
All right. I actually like Ole Miss a little, catching points, but at some point, this coaching distraction takes its toll, right? Who's staying, who's going, you're turning around. Who's the running backs coach? I've never seen this guy before. What the hell? What do you want me to do? What am I doing wrong? Let's look at tape. They're in the game. I don't know. So I'm going to go under here, 51.5. This Miami defense is incredible. They're the reason they're still alive here. They shut down the Buckeyes last week. You couldn't pass on them. You couldn't gain the edge on the runs. Cristobal's guys, they allowed 9 points a game, I think, over their last 6. And it's going to be tough for Trinidad Chambliss to work his magic. Some incredible dead-in-the-water plays last week to keep them alive against Georgia. Also, Miami themselves, 58th in explosive plays. Not sure we get a lot out of Carson Beck here. So I think it's in the low 20s, like 23, 22, 22, 20. We'll go under 51.5.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss, this is the best defense that they will play in the playoff, and I think this is the worst defense that Miami will play in the playoff, which is why I'm buying into Miami. I think they're going to have a better game here. Miami money line, minus 162. I don't like the fact that Miami's favored, Sal. I feel like, after I've been riding Miami this entire time, it's probably smart, if I was being a sharp here, to fade Miami after all of my good fortune to get them to the semifinals, plus 700. Feels like the right time to go the other way. But for whatever reason, I still believe in the U, and I think they're actually going to fall in the championship game. So I'll take them Miami money line minus 162. Again, I don't like the value, but I do like this team, and I do feel like the offense, they've not had a great game yet, but they've played two great defenses, and I think that they really show up in this one and give Ole Miss some trouble. So listen, I'll go with the U.
We should listen to you. You glossed over that. Plus 700 to make the semis. You called it a few weeks ago. Good job by you. I don't even think they were in the bracket at that point when you called it, but they certainly deserve to be there. Good job.
Yeah. I got one guy on Twitter who's like, I took Miami plus 450 to make the playoff because of you, and then I took him in the semifinals, and he was like, now I'm fading them, selling them hard. And I'm like, all right, perfect.
I love that, by the way, Tate. I had the same thing, like after getting my teeth kicked in betting the freaking Bengals or whoever I lost with on Sunday. I get like a couple of tweets like, thank you so much, Cousin Sal. I had Seattle. You gave it out at plus 750 in week 9 to win the division. I'm like, I did. I don't have that. I don't have that anywhere. Good job. Yeah. Spend it wisely.
I should have taken my own advice. Yeah.
Congrats.
Next up, we got Indiana, the favorite, the number 1 seed, minus 3.5, over-under set 46.5 versus Oregon. This is the Fiesta Bowl. This is out in Arizona. Sal, I know this one near and dear to your heart and your family's heart. What do you like in this one?
My son Archie attends the University of Oregon. He drove back up to Eugene the other day, and before he left, I hugged him and I grabbed his shoulders and I said, son, bring us home a championship.
That's
and then
right.
he reminded me he doesn't play. He just watches from closer than I do.
We need Archie to have a a moment, you know?
That's right. Exactly. I think like one of the linebackers is in his economics class, and he got excited about that. So already the tuition is paying off. This leveled off to a reasonable place. I thought 4.5 was too high. It's now 3.5. It's a tremendous game. It's almost not getting as much hype, right? Likely the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick at the quarterback spot. I think Indiana's better, but it could be time to pick them off. They push guys around on the offensive line. They protect Mendoza on defense, same kind of thing, but they're meeting up with a compatible front seven. You have running games that average 211 yards and 206. It was 30-20 a couple months ago. I don't think Dante Moore could play worse than he did in that first game. I feel like this is like an Ohio State-Oregon situation from last year. Lose the regular season game, win the one that matters. I'm going to say 24-20. Go Ducks. You're going the other way, Tate.
Yeah, I just have been picking against Indiana too much, and I feel like out of respect I have to pick them, but I'm with you. I mean, Cignetti even said it. He's like, it's hard to beat a great team twice, and I think that's the math that goes into this game and the reason why you kind of buy into the Ducks here. They're playing a little bit with house money, and also Indiana, just the high of beating Alabama the way that they did. You just worry about them maybe losing a little bit of focus there, celebrating a little bit too much. I know Cignetti's going to be on them to keep them from doing that, but also they've been on the West Coast, for quite some time. Oregon is a West Coast team. They're used to that. So going down to Arizona is no slight for them. So I'm a little concerned about Indiana, but I'll still take them minus 3.5, and I'll take the minus 120. I don't feel good about it though, Sal. I feel like the Ducks, it's a good number for them and a good draw for them.
Will be a good game. How about what we have coming up Thursday, the Miami game against Ole Miss, Friday, the Ducks and Hoosiers, and then playoff football Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Oh my God, the divorce rates in 2026. Be tremendous.
Thank goodness I didn't get married yet.
Yes, you're right. You got
smart.
That in your hip pocket.
Yeah, kicking it to next year. We got some specials. If you go to FanDuel right now, they got anytime touchdown, some semifinal specials at large there. Just talking about the CFP. Sal, is there any anytime touchdown or any special on the board that you like looking at these games?
Yeah, I'll go Jordan Davidson for Oregon. Anytime touchdown. The running back, true freshman, scored the first touchdown of the game versus Texas Tech. He ended up with 2 in that game. They're feeding him more. He's part of that 3-headed backfield I talked about that's responsible for over 200 yards a game. He has 15 touchdowns this year. Gets between 10 and 15 carries. They like him down low. And I also like him because he spells his name Jordan like Belichick's girlfriend. And I looked it up. They're different people. They are not the same person. But Jordan Davison, touchdown plus 150.
Unfortunately, Belichick's watching Jordan's cheerleading competitions in the offseason as opposed to finding a quarterback of the future. So that's where we are in Carolina football land. We'll see if things can get a little bit better. There's some specials on the board that I do like. This is one I really like. Carson Beck, anytime touchdown, plus 650. Carson Beck in that last game against Ohio State started to figure out, hey, they don't suspect I'm going to run the football. Yeah. And guess what? I got better legs than they think, and I feel like without the scout on his legs, he's able to kind of break down the defense a little bit. I think close to the goal line, they're going to do a good job of kind of bracketing some of these receivers, especially Malachi Toney. It's going to give him an opportunity to run and scramble, and I think he's going to scramble in for a touchdown against Ole Miss. So anytime touchdown, Carson Beck, plus 650, feels like some good value. Why not take a shot on Carson Beck? He has to play better, Sal. So I think he does it with his legs instead of his arms, and it's a safer play anyway. So
he's
I'll take
fooling
that
everyone. He's like, I've been here before. Why would anyone except for Tate go against me here? Plus 700 to make the semis.
Yeah, come on. He can do it. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we got some over-under reactions. We got a little track to the futures we'll talk about. But again, a lot of fun here on the Ringer Gambling Show. We'll be right back after the break. The Ringer Gambling Show is brought to you by FanDuel. You know how wild it gets when an NBA player goes off for 50. Now that moment could literally make you money thanks to FanDuel's brand new 50-piece jackpot. So if you think you know which player is going to have a big night, just visit FanDuel.com/gamblers to take your shot at a share of the pot in bonus bets with the 50-piece jackpot. There's a guy out there that I think could hit the 50 piece at some point. Brandon Miller for the Charlotte Hornets. Maybe you take a swing on that. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 and older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Must place eligible pre-live wager on select markets. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, welcome back to the Ringer Gambling Show. I'm your host, Tate Frazier. Cousin Sal is here as well, and we're going to track to the future, and then we're going to play my favorite game. But let's start with the future. Best long shot conference or Super Bowl value. You can go to FanDuel right now and find these odds. Sal, who do you like on the board? I mean, AFC, Super Bowl, what are you playing?
I think AFC is where you should concentrate. First of all, these top two seeds, right? They're four teams, top two seeds. None of the quarterbacks have playoff wins, right? So if you bet a team to win the conference, you might want to go long shot here. I'm going Jacksonville plus 600 because if you blur your eyes a little, there's no Patrick Mahomes, there's no Burrow, there's no Lamar, there's no King Henry. So there's going to be a team, maybe two, that you don't like going in who could maybe make it to the finish line and like emerge in February. So why not the Jags? Winners of 8 straight. Tate, they have great wins over your Panthers. Who would have thought? Over the Texans, over the Niners, over the Chargers, over the Broncos. All playoff teams right there. That's a lot of them. They run the ball well. They found the gem in Jacoby Myers, right? Great signing. They play defense with the #1 success rate versus the run. If they get past the Bills, they could, as easily as anyone else, end up in the Super Bowl. Yes. Trevor Lawrence, a mid-range upset. I think plus 600 is nice value there.
I do love you calling the Panthers a playoff team and calling it a quality win. That's music to my ears, but I like the Jags as well.
I swore in the first act, and I got reprimanded by our producer, but I think calling the Panthers a playoff team is actually even worse.
It's going to get bleed for sure. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way that's going to get through. I'm going to go with the Broncos here, Sal, plus 650. I know it's a little on the nose, but I do feel like as a 1 seed, everyone is kind of disrespecting this group, and Sean Payton has done it before, and Bo Nix has this weird superpower that even if he's down 20 points, the game is not over and they can make miracles happen. And I do feel like for whatever reason, the Broncos are going to be a tough out for anybody. And Sean Payton always has something up his sleeve. So plus 650 feels like some good value. Again, I'm not all the way in on the Broncos to win the Super Bowl, but why not take a big swing here for the #1 seed?
Let's think about that. If they make the Super Bowl, because their odds to win the AFC are not great, you might not want to take that, even though unlike everyone else, they just have to win 2 games. So their conference is plus 230. But what would be the most points they got from a hedge perspective in the Super Bowl? Like, I think if the Rams, or if Seattle or a 2.5 point favorite over Denver. I don't know what it would be. So you could hedge out of that nicely if you get there.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would think it might even be more, like it could be like 5.5 if it's like a hot team, like if it's like the Rams and Stafford's looking incredible and putting up major points or whatever.
All right, well, you're going against your narrative here. You need it to be a pick'em food, but it's okay. We'll go over math later.
Well, I'm just trying to be honest, here on the show for everybody. But I like the Broncos. Why not take a swing? Next up, stage of elimination. This is my favorite bet, my favorite specials that they have on FanDuel right now. And stage of elimination, best bet for you, Sal. What do you like on the board?
Maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I'm going to go 49ers to lose in the divisional round. And for that to happen, they would have to beat the Eagles. They'd have to upset them in Philly. Best game on paper, at least, of the weekend so far, San Francisco, Philly. And Philly traditionally takes care of business at home in the playoffs. But I like taking a shot with Purdy and the Niners. Their offense will not look as stale as it did Saturday night. Meanwhile, we've seen the Eagles. They often come out with a sleepy offense. No reason to expect anything different after resting their starters. Everyone's burying Shanahan. I said not just yet. I think Philly could regret not playing for that 2 seed. And then San Francisco's next game would likely be at Seattle or at Chicago, which is a coin flip game, and you got plus 320. I like that. I couldn't find much value anywhere else, but we loved San Francisco a couple weeks ago. Maybe don't jump off completely so soon. They lose not this weekend, but next, plus 320.
What are your thoughts on the see you in 2 weeks curse? This has been talked about where last year it was O'Connell and I believe it was Dan Campbell where he was like, see you in a couple weeks. And then both teams ended up losing. Obviously the Lions lost to the Commanders and then the Vikings ended up losing at the Rams. And this sort of same back and forth happens after with McDonald and Shanahan with, the final game of the season. And I think it was McDonald that said to Shanahan, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Do you think that's actually something to buy into? Because people were saying you got to fade both those teams now that we had that back and forth on camera.
It's kind of a stupid thing because it's out of their control too. Like even if San Francisco won, like I pointed out, they may not get Seattle in 2 weeks because it might have been a lower seed actually winning to have to play the one in Seattle. But I kind of like it. Anytime you could have egg on your face in this industry, Tate, it's great for us. Great content.
Maybe we do that on the show at some point. We just smash eggs on our face and read our worst bets of the season. That could be fun.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, see you in 2 weeks. Smash an egg on our face. I'm going to go with this one because I just feel like after the Ravens Steelers finish, there feels like a little team of destiny. And I'm not saying that this team is destined to go win a Super Bowl, but they are destined to win a home playoff game. I'm going to take the Steelers to win in the wild card game and then lose the next week in the divisional round. There will be a lot of fodder about how great the Steelers looked. Could they be an Aaron Rodgers, a redemption run to the Super Bowl type conversation? Then they'll get, mollywopped in the next round. So I can take them to lose in the divisional round plus 148. And I feel like, not the best value, but like you said, not the most value on the board. So that feels to me like they could beat the Texans. I know Texans D-line will give them some trouble, but at home with the steel curtain behind them, I feel like they win that game, and I feel like they lose the next round. So plus 148, we'll take that, Sal.
Not bad. My son Jack, inexplicably a Steelers fan, still celebrating 17 years old at the bar down the street, Steelers bar. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I love that. Shout out to Jack. You know what's so funny about NFL fandom is that it never makes any sense for anybody.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite things about it. It's like you can ask anybody from anywhere, like their favorite team, and they'll be like, I'm from New Orleans, but I love the Green Bay Packers. You're like, what? Right. It's like, it's just who I like.
Politics is kind of catching up to sports in that department. It's like, what? You've never made more than $18,000 a year. Why you've? All right, I won't get into it. Go ahead.
But it's true. Nobody knows. We don't know what side you're going to be on or what team you support, but that's the world we live in. Last track to the future, NBA Pacific Division. Everybody's talking about this, Sal. Who is going to win the Pacific Division? Your thoughts, track to the future. Who do you like here?
All right, not everyone's talking about it, but Bill Simmons has been pushing for the Clippers, I think. I don't think I know. Like every anything he does, he'll fit it into a rewatchables of Godfather 3 or something, how the Clippers are going to win it. But I say for the Pacific, I'm going to go Suns plus 370. Now, I know Durant buried them the other day, but they're 21-15. They've won 6 of their last 8. Their preseason win total was 30 or 30 and a half, somewhere in there. I think Colin Gillespie is a decent point guard right now. Booker's having a great year. They play hard every night. Their defense went from like 28th to 8th from last year to this, and they're only 2.5 games behind the Lakers. So that's a good number. The Lakers and Clippers could easily swoon. We've seen it so many times before. I think people are sleeping on Matt Ishbia's boys here. Plus 370 might be worth a look.
Yeah, and also we had the tweet the other day. Someone suggested the idea of the Lakers trading for Dillon Brooks, and Ishbia quote tweeted it. You don't see this much from owners, and he was like, "This would never happen. He's changed the culture of our team," and obviously loves Dillon Brooks. This was kind of a win-win trade for both sides, Houston and Phoenix, and the Suns, like you said, look like a much more likable group with this team. And I love Colin Gillespie personally, and I'm excited for him to be playing such good basketball at this point, and kind of showing people that if you actually know how to play point guard, it works when you play the game of basketball. You don't have to just be a project, and it's not just about potential. So I like the Suns as well. I'm going to take them at plus 370. So look at us.
All right, you tell Simmons. I won't tell him. You tell him this is your idea, not mine.
I think I'm dead after I bet against the Patriots last week in my elimination bet. I'm worried to talk to him. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
I need Lombardi and you to be my bridge to get back in good graces with him. We'll see what happens. Now we have some fun, Sal. Let's play our favorite game, over-under-reactions, and let's start here. Bettors should get a discount for attempting to wager on all the uncertainty that the NFL had to offer in Week 18. Over or under-reaction?
Absolutely. Under-reaction. I had such a headache, Tate, figuring out which coaches are lying about imagine having a Josh Allen over player prop and he takes one snap and he's like, bye, that's it. Good.
He's like kept the record going. Yeah.
I mean, I need a 400% discount after that Bengals game. Like, that was disgusting. Like, hey, we're going to spot you 2 defensive touchdowns and still have every stat available to win that game. I think it was like a 1%. Some kind of weird thing with it. That soccer stat where expectancy of win during the game. Nonsense. You knew one game would be a screw job. It was at Cincinnati. So thanks, Joe Cool. All the Christmas gifts go back now.
Yeah, he also helped Myles Garrett out by, it wasn't quite the level of Brett Favre going down for Michael Strahan, but it definitely felt like he knew that he had the record on the line. And, no shade to him, but I don't know. I didn't feel great about it, Sal. Even though Myles Garrett, he deserves the record, the least amount of snaps to get that record. A lot of people talking about the multiple games, so you got to give credit for the lack of snaps to get there to get the sacks. But still a little strange. Let's keep it in that.
I just thought I said to Simmons, I was like, they maybe Burrow should have given up the sack on the first drive, and then Myles Garrett isn't coming at you 160% for the remaining 3.5 quarters. Maybe, they're carrying him around the field and everything, all that nonsense. But anyway, whatever.
Maybe you go to him in your first series and like, hey, I'm taking one for you,
Yeah.
And then he's like smiling a little bit and he's like, oh, I love Joe. Joe's the best.
Right. Go take pictures with the cheerleader, whatever you need to do. It's fine.
And also they wanted to run like a hurry up play and they couldn't because they decided to stop the game and let him celebrate.
For a sack.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Come on. It's
in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Wild times. Next up, the Ravens' annual January shortcomings are not Lamar Jackson's fault. Over or under reaction. So,
when I watch January Lamar play January games, I definitely want to blame him. Now he's been hurt and he probably came back too early. But the scrambling is not there. But that elusiveness was insane, especially on that pass to Flowers is dead on. That was really the game winner, I thought, even though they ended up losing. But maybe it's not his fault. Look at the last 3 years. That missed field goal the other night, the Andrews drop the year before, right? The Flowers fumble by the goal line, by the 3 or whatever it is. It's not really on him. I'll say underreaction for the purposes of your favorite game here.
Yeah, I like that you pointed that out because I feel like it's obviously natural for us to point the finger at Lamar, but those are 3 kind of freak accidents that have happened, and that missed field goal. They had people going to the wife of the kicker, and she had posted their fiance photos, and people were just calling her out. I mean, crazy.
People are idiots.
Happening.
Yeah, people are stupid. Just get your S together here, people. He missed a few. It's not the end of the world.
Just
what the Bengals did to me, that's the end of the world. But no, not this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a little egg on his face, but he'll be all right. He'll bounce back. I blame Tirico, by the way. Like, what an insane lead into that kick. He's like, they went and found this guy. He's built for these pressure moments. Right. I was like, is this like the most announcer jinx I've ever heard in my life? Like, did he have Steelers money line? Like, good Lord.
Morgan Freeman-esque with the narrative, like calling over like an intense scene. But yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, very strange. Next up, Tom Brady gets an A+ in his first year as minority owner of the Raiders for securing the first pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Over or underreactions?
He did it. Underreaction. What a dude. He got it. Because he had access to all the opponents as part of his broadcast commitment. You understand that, Tate? What a joke that was. Yeah, number one pick. Carry him on your shoulders. I think good job by you, Tom Brady. I don't even know what's to be accomplished there in Las Vegas.
He said, here's our game plan. Pete gave it to me, and good luck this week. And the only team he didn't give it to apparently was the Patriots because he did not want them to win. And he also does not want Drake May to win MVP. So I do feel like Tom's got a little spice and a little spite going on when he's talking about his Patriots, which is a little interesting. Next up,
you know what I was thinking? Sorry. So Brady, Raiders, Aikman looks like with the Dolphins, right, to help out. All these broadcasters, Matt Ryan, who was a broadcaster, going to help out in Atlanta.
Yep.
Mark Sanchez really effed up, huh? I mean, he really could have been. He could have owned part of the Browns at this point.
Right.
Something.
Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez, they come in to consult,
Yeah.
Maybe Revis comes in, Cromartie's kids. They bring everybody in from the good times of the Jets. Broadway Joe and his fur coat. That would be great. You're right. Maybe we figure that out. Speaking of the Jets, Sal, the most impressive feat in the NFL season was the Jets defense being unable to intercept a pass all season long. Over or under reaction?
Congrats to the Jets.
Yeah.
Zero interceptions. That's
with a defensive head coach. Yeah.
Defensive head coach. It really seems impossible. Like with all the tip passes and the fact that the team plays outdoors in bad weather and they face Tua twice at the best for Miami, Dylan Gabriel, Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco. Simply an amazing feat. Honestly, that was really something else. I don't know.
Yeah, facing Tua and not getting an interception is like an anomaly at this point. So that makes it even more impressive. This is more impressive to me than Myles Garrett getting the sack record. I'll say that. That's a proper reaction.
Yeah, because now I kind of feel they should go to 18 games just to see if the Jets could break their own record of 17 this season. That's the only reason I'd want to see an 18-game schedule.
Then we have to look at the snap counts of how many snaps the defense got and if it mattered or not. That'd be great.
And miles per hour of the defensive end before he tipped the pass. Yeah.
You love it. Next up, people can go ahead and stop posting AI charts predicting Super Bowl winners for the next 50 years. Over or under reaction?
I hate these. Under reaction. I hate it because I'm sucked in and, it'll list like a 2026 Rams. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. 2027 Seahawks. Okay. 28 Patriots. All right. That's not much fun for me, but we'll take it. It makes sense. And then I'll scroll and I'll find the Cowboys 2061. Like, great. I'll be dead. The kids won't be in great shape either. Jerry will still be alive, but I won't be around for it. And if that's not bad enough, you see the teams that won before us, then they'll have like Burger King to win the title in 2054 and Shell gas station. Like Shell gas station is going to have a GM and a Lombardi trophy before the Cowboys. FAI. I'm done with it.
I feel like Jerry's going to be like in Futurama when he has his head in a jar and he's still running the team. That's going to be the future of the Cowboys.
Let's do that now. At least that's funny.
Be good. Next up, the refs in the Bucs-Panthers game turned out to be the best team in the NFC South. Over or under reaction?
Oh, you don't like that. You don't like that. I'll say under reaction. Listen, I hate killing refs. I'm on text change where all anyone wants to do is mother F the officials. And it's not my thing because I think if a team loses, you can list 6 things that happened before you list like one bad call. But this one was bad. Like Ted McMillan OPI, ripping helmets off, no calls. The Tampa receiver trips, they called a pass interference. The lateral that they said went out of bounds, even though there's no visual proof that it went out of bounds. Like, so now you're seeing things like, I'll turn the other cheek. But when it's like 5 big calls to none, you have to say something. But it didn't matter. Worked out for the Panthers.
It also made the game on Sunday matter, which is kind of the conspiracy theory, right?
Sure.
That's why they wanted it to be the way that it was, so that people had to watch Falcons Saints. And we watched Falcons Saints, and man, incredible performance by the Falcons. I turned into a Falcons fan, and want to shout out to Atlanta for getting us in. I also asked a couple of my Falcons fans, I'm like, which team would you want in? Like, if you're Atlanta, are you trying to lose the game because you hate the Panthers more? And they're like, no, we hate the Bucks more, which I thought was fascinating because it's always kind of been Atlanta, Charlotte.
Interesting.
A little rivalry there, but apparently they wanted the Panthers in. So kudos to them.
They're not hateable. I don't know. I mean, people hate that the NFC South winner got in with the lousy record, but I was trying to think, Simmons and I trying to work out who the most hateable team is in this playoff field. I think the Patriots are going to get there eventually. They're not there, but is it still Aaron Rodgers because of everything else?
Yeah, I think it's Rodgers or maybe the Niners. I feel like people hate the Niners. Yeah.
Wow. Not
at least
the Eagles
in my circle. I guess I'm in LA, so people hate the Niners anyway. But a lot of people around me hate Brock Purdy and hate that team for some reason. I don't know why. I don't really mind them. I think they're fun to watch. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Nobody's hateable. Why not?
No, it's true. That's the problem with these playoffs. But someone will say something stupid. We'll be back.
Yeah, someone will do something dumb, and then we'll be like, they're hateable. It's perfect. Next up, there's a special place in hell reserved for college players who transfer during their team's playoff run. Over or under reactions?
Yeah, underreaction. I hate it. You're just letting everyone down. Should I hate it more than when a coach does it? I don't know. Like, so look at Miami. Chance Robinson leaves. You could deal with that because they have like 5 wide receivers that stepped up. But, you know, if Carson Beck figures out he has eligibility on Wednesday and wants to transfer to Michigan for big money, we have a problem. And I feel like we're 2 years away from that. They need to change the calendar. They need to get ready.
Change the calendar. Figure it out. We can't be having this. We can't have like Lane Kiffin trying not to let his coaches go coach for Ole Miss because he needs them to recruit for LSU in the portal. You know, like this is just all so stupid. Last one, Sal. This is not stupid. This is important. And this is a PSA to everybody out there. The Critics' Choice Awards are more prestigious than the Emmys. Over-Underreaction. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Underreaction. Yeah. Yes. Nice job, Jimmy Kimmel Live. I've always said this. It's the better award than the Emmys. Critics are so critical. It's great. The Emmys, whatever. I have a freaking Emmy back there. What does it mean? Yeah, congratulations to everyone at Jimmy Kimmel Live. 150 people working their asses off all year, and not Jimmy. He fly fishes in the summer, but it's good. Tate, can we get a Critics' Choice Award? Do we have critics? I don't know.
I'm sure we have critics. I don't know if they have a choice though. That's the problem. Do we have critics with the choice? We got to figure that out. Second part. Yeah.
If you're a critic with a choice, hit us up on Instagram or something. Not just critics.
Yeah, not just the critics that are out there. But yeah, I love this. I was excited for Jimmy, the whole staff. Everybody deserves it. And I think you're right, though. I mean, if the critics love you, what can you say to anybody else? That's a big win. You know, we love to see it.
We need more critics and fans. We'll get them.
We need also people to know like what the statue is for the Critics' Choice Award. You know what I mean? Like the Emmys, everybody sees the statue and knows like that's an Emmy. We need better, recognition there for the Critics' Choice Awards. That's all.
Should be like 5 foreigners like pointing their finger at you. That should be the thing. We're very critical of your monologue. Yeah.
Even like Nickelodeon had the blimp. You know what I mean? Like it's nice when you kind of know the VMA, right? That the Moon Man. You need to know what it is. What the
Bring
Critics'
the blimp
Choice
back.
Yeah.
I agree.
Come on, let's figure it out. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we got a one shining segment. We're going to talk some college basketball, talk a little NBA. We're obligated to talk some basketball here. We'll be right back on the other side here on the Ringer Gambling Show. Welcome back to the Ringer Gambling Show. I'm your host, Tate Frazier. Sal is here. We're doing our one shining segment. We're going to talk some college basketball. So I'll turn it over to you, Sal, to set this up for me.
Yeah, turn it over to me. What the hell do you know about one shining anything? Yeah, I'll do the college talk. If you have to get coffee or something, do it.
Yeah, I'll get a sip.
Listen, this is it. Tate's Top 5. This is what people tune in for. This is what's going to win us a Critics' Choice Award. Duke with a scare on Saturday versus FSU, but they survived. Is Tate's Top 5 the same as last week? Let me remind you. You had Arizona 1, Michigan 2, Iowa State 3, Duke 4, UConn 5. Let's hear it, Tate.
Yeah, let's do it. We're making changes. We're not keeping it the same. We're not static. We're dynamic. Okay. We're going to put Michigan number 1. It's time. I mean, Dusty May just absolutely, it's a demolition every time that they play basketball. I love Arizona. I love this team. Tommy Lloyd is my guy, Mr. Mai Tai himself, but I just have to make the swap at this point. Michigan's too good. So I'll put Michigan at number 1, Arizona number 2. I'll keep Iowa State at number 3. Duke has looked shaky to start the ACC. I know they've won both games, but they could have easily lost both those games, down in the second half, and both able to find a way to fight back at the free throw line as expected. I'll put UConn at 4, and then number 5, I'm going to put Purdue now at number 5. So Duke is going to drop out of the top 5. Yeah.
Tate can only show Duke love for 1 week. That's just how it is.
That's fine.
This is big.
Back, Sal.
People don't realize how important this is because only 5 teams make your tournament, right? Mm-hmm. This is not 68.
Yes.
So Duke has to find their way back in. Good job by you mixing it up. So one way for them to get back is to beat Louisville tonight. This is flip-flop between Louisville being an underdog by 1.5 to Louisville being a favorite. Right now they're a favorite. 162.5 is the over-under. Mikel Brown out with a back injury. That's the point guard projected lottery pick for Louisville. Can the Cardinals still win this? Can they pull off the slightest? It's not even an upset anymore now at home.
Yeah, Louisville's problems are on the road. They lost at Stanford on Friday. It was the last time that we saw them in action. They dominated Cal before that. But again, Mikel Brown, this will be 5 straight games that he has missed with this lower back pain. Everybody's talking about Darren Peterson, but Mikel Brown Jr., top 5 pick that's having similar lingering issues. One's a hamstring. Mikel Brown's is a back. So it's a fascinating storyline in general. But Louisville at home is a different animal, and they're just a really tough out. They got a lot of depth despite Brown not playing. Javon Hadley has been a nice piece for this team. Conwell looks like one of the top players in the country, definitely one of the top players in the ACC. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals tonight. They need a bounce back win. Duke, like I said, has looked like a team that is not close to the juggernaut that they were last year. They're definitely more gettable. And I think on the road at Louisville, it's kind of a loss that you can wipe away if you're Duke. And I think Louisville really needs this win. So I'll take the Cardinals in this one, Sal.
And it'll make your top 5 look so like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, right.
Duke,
exactly.
Duke could be out of your top 10 before we know it if they lose this and a couple others. All right, Florida, 9.5 point favorite, 169.5 is the total. Georgia comes to town. Help me through this, Tate. Florida lost to Missouri, right? They stayed close a few weeks ago, last month with Duke and UConn. Georgia, though, ranked 18th. Florida not ranked at all. Georgia 13-1, and yet the line is 9.5. I mean, I know it's in Gainesville. What's going on here? How is Florida ranked over such a big favorite over this ranked Georgia team?
I just think everybody suspects Florida at some point is going to make threes and make shots in general. This front court's one of the best front courts in the country, a returning front court from a national championship team. The problem was they had to replace the 3 guards who were so incredible last year, Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard. And now 2 of those guys are playing in the NBA right now. Elijah Martin's in the G League. He's probably going to be pulled up to the Raptors very soon. So 3 really, really star guards for this team they're trying to replace, and they have not figured it out, especially from the outside. But at home, coming off a loss against Mizzou, Georgia comes off an overtime win against Auburn where, they've just looked a little bit shaky. I said to you before, they're a little bit of a paper tiger. I think Florida's going to get this right in this game, and I think they're going to come out and make some noise. So I think they win this game by double digits. I think they cover, so I'll take the Gators.
All right, I'm writing that down. I'll probably be a wuss and take you on a money line parlay and lose with something else stupid, but 9.5. Tate's laying the points. All right, another favorite at home, Houston, 6.5, 141.5 is the total against Texas Tech. Tech is 11-3, Houston 13-1, trying desperately to get in your top 5. This would help a little. Houston's been good to me, Tate. They beat up Arkansas. They won in Cincy. Never easy. That was the first conference game. Does Kelvin Sampson's team cover? Even win?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, at home, I feel like Houston definitely has the advantage, obviously, but they've just been waiting for a team to finally get them. Obviously, they lost to Tennessee out there in Vegas, but since then, they've been in some close games where they've been able to kind of skirt by. Cincinnati on Saturday definitely had a chance to lose that game, but somehow found a way to win. Emmanuel Sharp was MIA until the end of that game where he was able to make a couple free throws. Kingston Flemings has been incredible for this Houston team, but I still feel like they don't have quite the same identity that they had last year. I know they had lost lost 4 games at this point last year. They've only lost 1 game so far this year. And I think Texas Tech is rounding into form. I really like their big 3, Christian Anderson, JT Toppin, Lawan Watts. So I'm gonna shoot my shot here, Sal. I'm gonna take Texas Tech in this game. I think they get Houston. So 6.5 is a big line. I think Texas Tech can cover. Maybe Houston wins a close one, but I'll take Texas Tech in this one.
Make it your upset special. I know you want to say it.
I
know you want to say it. Texas Tech Red Raiders. All right, let's we'll have a little more NBA talk on the other side of the next break. But I do want to mention, from a gambler's perspective, that Oklahoma City game. They lose to your Charlotte Hornets. They were a 16.5-point favorite. They lost by what? They lost by 27.
Yeah,
so 43 and a half. I think that's the biggest one of the year for sure, maybe in a couple years. Now all the talk is about this NBA Cup fatigue, right? OKC made it far. The Knicks lost by 31 to Detroit. Are you buying any of this? And what are you looking at with Oklahoma City overall?
I just think, since Jalen Williams has come back, they've kind of had to figure out who they are as a group again. And maybe someone's got some tape on this team and they figured out how to guard this team. And I think there's a lot of conversation about the fouls and all this sort of stuff. And maybe teams have gotten smarter about the way they guard this group. And, OKC is a top flight team. I was never buying into the idea that they were going to repeat and especially not break the 73 win record. And, I feel a lot better about that because when they were 24-1 or whatever it was, Sal, I was not feeling great about it. So I'm glad it's trending in the right direction, at least for my own mind's eye.
6-6 in their last 12. There was talk about them winning 70 games. And now, let me quickly look up what their over-under win. Do they have the regular season wins? What would you think? What would you guess it is for
right now?
City? Yes, over-under win.
66.
Wow, you're good. 66.5 is the over-under. I'm not sure. They lost 6 games in the last 12. Not sure that's the way to go.
Is there value in taking the over right now?
It could be. Yeah, there's, obviously the narrative is against it, but did they figure out, like, we don't have to, they're going to do the Popovich thing? We don't have to win 100 games in a regular season. Let's just lay back and get rested for the playoffs. That's always the problem with these teams that hover around 70.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked about that, but I feel like they want to go for the record. I don't know. That just feels like a Presti move to kind of be like, we are, who you thought we were kind of thing. So I would take the over at this point. I think they end up with like 68 wins, even though they're struggling right now.
That'd be good. All right. Yeah, we did. We did it. So we'll talk more NBA. What do you want to do? You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. Why not? Let's take a break. And then we'll come back. We'll do our Tuesday best bets, and we'll talk a little NBA. This is good.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of NBA. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Ringer Gambling Show. We got our best bets on the board for Tuesday night. Sal, what are you looking at, and what do you like?
Listen, if this gambling show is going to win a Critics' Choice Award, we're going to have to pick some winners here, Tate. So let's start January 6th, Tuesday. Heat +7 over the Timberwolves. That's my best bet. I like Miami. Norman Powell coming off a heater. No pun there. Other day he had 9 threes. They should get Tyler Hero back in the lineup tonight, although the line movement suggests the T-Wolves backers don't care. This went from 5.5 to 7. These two teams played on Saturday in Miami. It was a bucket bonanza won by Minnesota. Now the home and home completes tonight. I think the T-Wolves are just 7-11 against the spread at the Target Center. Anthony Edwards eventually takes over, but that number's too high. 116, 112. Let's grab Miami and the 7 points here.
Yeah, I like the 7 points. I think that's a good call. And also maybe Minnesota overlooks them a little bit after beating them in Miami a few days ago. So that could be nice. I'm going to go with another Minnesota team. I'm going to go to college basketball and take Minnesota +5.5 over Iowa. Everybody is high on Iowa right now, talking about, the new group. Obviously, Ben and Sturts has been great for this team. The defense has been electric for Iowa. But when they face, teams with length and size, they've had a little bit of issues. They kind of look like a mid-major team out there. So I'll take Minnesota +5.5 over Iowa in this game, a ranked Iowa team. But I think Cade Tyson has a big game, and I'm riding with the Golden Gophers there, Sal.
I love it. I love your college picks. I love that we have college football Thursday and Friday, and then NFL action Saturday, Sunday. I love that we're going to hear over 709.5 times. Now, this is the first time in 3 decades Brady, Mahomes, Peyton Manning aren't in the playoffs. Would you see that's a good number, 7 and 9.5?
I would think we might be hitting 1K. You know what I mean? We're going to be up there at a crazy number, and who knows? I mean, Brady might even mention it, 700 times himself.
I know. We get it. We have to stare at Bo Nix for 12 more game hours. But what are we going to do? There's nothing we could do.
Drake May, Bo Nix, there's some fun guys to watch out there. It'll be good. Speaking of things that are good, we appreciate everybody tuning into this show, and we appreciate everyone hanging out with us. This is the Ringer Gambling Show, and we will see you next week.
Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. You must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York in New York.